the Ziegler School, we take seriously the role of rabbi as teacher. For the past several years, the faculty of the school have shared their knowledge and insight to prepare these men and women for their careers in the rabbinate. This evening, we invite our new colleagues to teach us as we have taught them. The members of the class selected a text to teach us this evening. They studied this text together and have asked one of their classmates, Jonathan Scott Hodson, to represent it by teaching us tonight. You may follow along in the text, which is printed in your ordination programs on page 4. It's my pleasure to call forward Jonathan Scott Hodson to represent the Ziegler School class of 2019 and to lead the shiur.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being with us tonight in this most holy of moments. I'm very honored to speak on behalf of my class. I'd like for you to make an image in your head of the soon-to-be rabbi that you're here supporting tonight. But instead of the way we look now, think of them the way they looked 4, 5, 6, or even 7 years ago for some of us, back to when this whole rabbinical school process started. Picture them sitting awkwardly on the couch in Rabbi Hodson's house as they began their orientation to the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies. And as they look around the room at their new classmates, they sit unsure of how this will all play out. Everyone tonight, ladies and gentlemen, lived that moment. And we dreamed of one day being at this ceremony and standing on this stage. And back then we looked hopefully at the deans of the school and thought, they're going to make me a rabbi one day. Well, that day has come, and we're so excited to share it with all of you. Now, if rabbinical school has taught us anything, it's that a text is learned best when studied with a chavruta, a study partner. So, that being said, my classmates and I would like to invite all of you to learn a text that we have selected together. Each one of you tonight will be our chavruta. And for a moment, this ordination tent will become a Beit Midrash, a study hall. And so just as we began our studies here at the Ziegler Beit Midrash, learning text, so shall we end it. The text from the Talmud we have prepared to learn this evening can be found in your program. I'll begin by reading it to you. And this is the background to an exchange that took place when Rabbi Hanina and Rabbi Hia argued. Rabbi Hanina said to Rabbi Hia, "You are arguing with me? If, heaven forbid, the Torah would be forgotten by the Jewish people, I would restore it through my analysis." Rabbi Hia said to Rabbi Hanina, "I am working to ensure that the Torah will not be forgotten by the Jewish people, for I bring flax and plant it, and then I weave nets from the flax fibers. I then go out and trap deer, and I feed the meat to orphans. And I form scrolls from the skins of the deer, and I go to a town that has no teachers of children in it, and I write the 5 books of the Torah for 5 children. And I teach the 6 orders of the Mishnah to 6 children. To each and every one of these children I say, teach your order to your friends." Now, what is the primary concern that these 2 rabbis share? And what is their greatest fear? I'll give you a hint. The fears that they have are the same fears that many of us have today, that the Torah will be forgotten by the Jewish people. Yes, even though this text was written thousands of years ago, that fear is still alive and very active even today. Every generation has faced this fear. We are afraid that our children and our children's children will abandon Judaism. Unfortunately, these feelings are not unique or new. So to combat this epidemic, each of these rabbis gave their own solution. Rabbi Hanina thinks that if he offers his expert analysis on Torah, it will solve the problem. But Rabbi Hia, he understands that preparing to teach Torah is a process that one should take seriously, a process that takes time. And I think I can speak on behalf of my classmates this evening when I tell you that we now understand very well that preparing to teach Torah does indeed take time. Boy, howdy does it take time. As I mentioned earlier, 4, 5, 6, and 7 years worth of time. But we could also tell you that as many years as we have been within the walls of the Ziegler School, while we may feel ready to head out into the world as rabbis, there is always so much more Torah to learn. I'd like for you to take note of something. What is the first thing that Rabbi Hia does in his process? He plants a seed. That is the first step in learning to teach Torah. And somewhere along the way, all of you sitting here tonight supporting us, you helped us plant our seed. Next, Rabbi Hia makes a net out of the material that sprang from that seed. Do you know how one makes a net, by the way? You begin by securing one end of a cord or a rope to an anchor, and from there, you tie it to another piece. You connect them. Each net is actually a series of hundreds of connections tied together. And without the other pieces secured to one another, you would never have a functioning net. And I'm proud to say that this evening, that it was our beloved teachers and mentors here at the Ziegler School who provided us with the anchor we needed to begin making connections. And over the course of our time here, we tied ourselves to tradition, we tied ourselves to texts, and we tied ourselves to each other. We made ourselves a big net. By the way, what does Rebbe Hia do with this net? He traps with it, and so did we. You see, we understood that this beautiful web of Torah has the opportunity to tangle one up. We wrapped ourselves in it. We fell in love. We loved it so much, we attempted to trap others in it as well. We probably tried to get all of you at least once. How often did you all listen to us talk about what we learned in school on a particular day? Did we trap you at the dinner table explaining the various nuances we found in this week's Parsha? Or a comment from Rashi we just needed to process out loud? If so, we apologize, but not really. Because we learned that this web we created also could be used as a safety net, a secure place to fall when life gets a little rough. Perhaps the most interesting thing and important thing that Rabbi Hia does is his final step. He feeds the orphans. Before he tries to teach them anything, he takes care of their most basic of needs. That is the essence of our work here. That is what we are all setting out to do. So while we learned here, we listened, we loved, and of course we fed and we ate. And we ate some more. We'll actually be eating some more after ordination tonight. Only after this was done, taking care of the needs of the others, like Rabbi Hia, did we go to our places that needed Torah. And we taught it there. In synagogues and hillels, at yoga retreats, and in the desert, we brought our Torah. Most importantly, we tried to teach it in a way that could be taught to others. L'dor v'dor, from one generation to the next. And just as you all have supported us, and just as our teachers have taught us, we realize that Torah is too precious to be kept to only one generation. In closing, I'd like to offer one final anecdote. A story is told of Rebbe Zusha, the the great Hasidic master who lay crying on his deathbed. His students came and asked of him, "Rebbe, why are you so sad? You have believed in God with a faith as strong as Abraham's, and you have followed the commandments as carefully as Moses. Surely you will find a place in heaven." "I am afraid," said Rabbi Zusha, "because when I get to heaven, I am afraid that God will not ask me, 'Why weren't you more like Abraham?' or 'Why weren't you more like Moses?' But rather, I am afraid that God will ask, 'Why weren't you more like Zusha?'" Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you without hesitation this evening that neither me nor my classmates are afraid to be our own Rebbe Zusha, to be ourselves. And while we dreamed on that couch years ago that Ziegler would make us rabbis, the reality is that while our school provided the classrooms, the amazing teachers, and the huge amount of knowledge, they alone couldn't make us rabbis. We had to earn it for ourselves. And we could not have done it without the presence of Adonai, our God, and the patience and support of the people that we love. You. Earlier, I cited a fear that our people have held on to for generations, that the Torah would be forgotten by the Jewish people. Well, if myself and my classmates have anything to say about that, it's this: not on our watch. So now, dear friends, loved ones, and planters of seeds, now that we have learned together, let our first act as rabbis be to instruct you the way Rebbe Hia instructed his students. Teach what you have learned to your friends. Vador Vador. Thank you.